The West Tigers fight to stay in that game. I thought the Sharks were going to come over the top. Hynes had the ball on a string for a period there in that last 20. They scored back-to-back tries, I'm pretty sure. All of a sudden, then Hazelton gets one-on-one. Hynes gets Hazelton one-on-one. He just gets ankle tapped, and then Hyde spreads the ball again later on. And Atkinson, one-on-one against his centre, just gets ankle tapped. An incredible win from the Tigers. And I'm telling you right now, what's so special about this for me from just a wider audience fan, I go back to a couple of years ago when it was a Radonicus game a few years ago with the black jerseys.
Yep, Cowboys.
Yep. It was against the Cowboys, and I say this respectfully, but it was one of the most embarrassing club performances I've seen in a long time, especially with such a club legend. Look, they didn't need to win, but it's just the way they played as a team. Look how far the club has come since then. That all the drama that's happened over the last few weeks, they bring the young fella back into the side, and they look like they haven't missed a beat, and beat a Shark side that's currently in the top 8. That's how far they've come. They have, a few years ago, they had a lot of pressure in with a club legend. They completely crumbled under pressure. They have all this pressure from one of the craziest weeks in news all year long, and they don't crumble under pressure. That's the difference with the club, and a brilliant win by the Tigers. Hammy?
Yes, they showed a lot of ticket for sure, and there was you mentioned a couple of moments there where there's a couple of little one-on-ones and some ankle taps and whatever came into play.
KO can't miss moments.
KO can't miss. I think Kennedy, again, he's been obviously leading the Dally M's this year, having a great year. There was a moment where he made a huge run on the first tackle. And, I was like, it might have even been tackle 0 that they got all the way down there. And then you could just see all these Tigers jerseys just getting back, scrambling. And that's something that they've done really well this year. And, every now and again you look at the stat sheet and you go, there's still quite a few missed tackles there, but they're still making up for it and getting back. And there's definitely been a bit of an attitude shift. And, I was only there for the first half. I had to get to work and leave at half time, unfortunately.
Killing it on the Matty John show just quietly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Mate. But you had to get down there for that. But just the vibe around the place and stuff, and there's some great content that came out. A nice slow-mo shot of Dewey that went up on the Tigers socials, the hill just exploding. And, there's a really good vibe in there. So a great hard-fought win after what's been a tough couple of weeks, and really good to see even the chats with the interviews after the game with Galvin. And, there's some really positive stuff being said. So hopefully they can kind of keep up this, because they had some great form before it all kind of went down a week or two ago. They definitely bottled that up yesterday, and hopefully they can keep it going.
What do you reckon, Root?
Wasn't that it was Galvin that made the ankle tap on Hazelton, wasn't it? What a moment. That was huge. As someone that had Hazelton as an ATS, I was filthy. But how good was that from Galvin? I thought he played really well, and I think bringing him back in this game, and I'm sure this wasn't planned, and you were there, Hammy, but I assume the ANZAC ceremony before, it sort of took away the opportunity to boo him. Or anything like that point. As he came out. So I think that sort of changed the temperature a little bit.
Yeah, there was they did, they read the team out and the numbers kind of come through. And I got my phone out to film and I was like, this will be interesting. There's a bit of booing, not too much. And probably his first 2 touches, there was a bit. And then it all just kind of dropped off.
That's so good to hear. Yeah. That's so good to hear, because winning changes everything. If you win, if Galvin stays at the club for the rest of the year, they win some footy matches, I reckon there's a lot of Tigers fans who'll go, you know what, now the emotion has all died down. Shit happens. I mean, how do you feel a bit more removed from it all?
Yeah, well, look, I still would have loved him to kind of go on, thanks for the offer, let's wait till the end of the season and see. Because if they end up coming 4th and going on a bit of a tear, maybe he goes, all right, maybe this is the place for me to get the best out of myself. But it got a bit ugly, got a bit messy. It was good to see yesterday, though, that it didn't get too nasty and all that sort of thing. Obviously, there's still a bit of disappointment and whatever. But, I think the way that everyone kind of responded yesterday was great. And it was really good to see, kind of the interactions with the players on the field, getting around each other, the nice things they had to say about each other, Jerome's response in the press conference, all that sort of stuff. They looked a lot more together than they probably felt a week and a bit ago.
I can't stress enough. The whole club would have crumbled if something like this happened 2 years ago. It would have literally fucking folded. And yet the fact that you can withstand this kind of crazy press cycle and win a game against not just a lower tier side, against Cronulla. That shows you how far they've come. And we'll speak about it in the Tigers game. But what saddens me the most is Luai and him actually make an incredible halves pairing. The amount of time, most of the time when Galvin had his big moment, it was a pass from Luai that set it up. I mean, even his first offload, that was all Luai setting that up and giving him the space to hit that. Obviously, the offload wasn't Luai, that was Galvin. But what I'm saying is the pass come from, and so that's the most. What do you think, Timmy?
Yeah, look, it was a turbulent week for so many reasons across the NRL and at the Tigers with Lockie Galvin. And Lockie Galvin to come in and set up that first try for Samuel Afinu was just an outstanding moment. But then across the weekend of the NRL with all the sin bins and the drama there that it had, I saw people on Twitter, which is not a great place to be at the best of times, blowing up and saying, I've had enough, I'm fed up with the NRL and this crackdown, the game's unwatchable at the moment, I'm giving up on it. I'm like, firstly, you're being so bloody dramatic, get over it. And secondly, it's like, cool, if you stop watching, you would have missed one of the great games of the season on Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt Oval. Like, that was just genuine edge of seat stuff that last 15 to 20 minutes, which was absolutely special. So it's a shame for those people that have given up on rugby league mid-weekend who missed out on this game. But to be there, and the atmosphere at Leichhardt Oval on the hill, it just looked tremendous. So, and then to cap it off with Adam Doueihi, who's had such awful luck with injuries in recent years, to have this amazing moment to nail the penalty in Golden Point, the crowd going bonkers. What a great moment for him as well.
Yeah, and also, we spoke last week about Metcalf. I know his converting wasn't as bad as Metcalf, but I'm pretty sure he missed a field goal prior to that conversion. Missed two. And so there wasn't really... there wasn't hesitation from Doueihi saying, oh, shit, should I actually take this or whatever? And so, mate, for him the mental strength to just gather everything back in, get in the right headspace and nail that goal. And also for him to have that moment because, a couple of years ago, he was the main man at the club and he's had to probably swallow his pride a little bit and take a couple steps back because some, bigger dogs have come to the club and, more successful. But he hasn't, sometimes you can see players kicking rocks when they get demoted to certain positions or whatever. He hasn't kicked rocks at all. If anything, he's stepped up and played even better.
Yeah, game 100 for him last week when it all went down. And he had to change his roll-up, go play at number 7. And obviously, the Eels won that game. So it was nice for him to have in his 101st game a big moment like that. That will,
And Twally, they delivered. We'll talk about it in the Tigers game, but they delivered for the big fella, Twally.
150. Here's to the next 150.
I feel like this game, when Hynes kind of got them back into it and they had those 2 tries, I felt like, okay, here's where they're going to just come over the top. And granted, they really did. Like, as I said, Hynes got Hazelton one-on-one with Galvin, and you would back Hazelton to win that tackle every day of the week. He didn't. Then Hynes spun it early, and Atkinson had one-on-one with his centre. You would back Atkinson's 9 times out of 10 to beat a defender one-on-one, especially when they're sliding across. He didn't. But it's just that venom I think they're missing at times. What do you think, boys?
Isn't it crazy, though? Like... If Hynes just hits a coat of paint on that post slightly to the right, he's a hero. And it's the whole week changes.
Yeah, the whole week.
That one moment. We mentioned it last night in our chat. Hynes copping a bit on socials, as he always fucking does. But just I thought he did everything he could have in this game. Like, he just...
Yeah. And I know there are going to be people that will be like, oh, you're just Hynes apologies. Trust me, when Hynes... Like, for example, should have he passed the ball to Trindle instead of just taking that field goal? He should have just taken the field goal. I know they have set up plays, and you can't have it both ways. You can't be, it's Trindle's team, he's the man, Hynes needs to just take a step back. Because that's the yarn last few weeks. He needs to just you can't have it both ways. If it is the case that you rate Trindle over Hynes, then you should have been happy that Hynes gave Trindle the ball. But I still have a firm belief that Hynes is the main man in the side. Now, does that mean necessarily he's a 7 or not? I'm not sure. But when it comes to being the star, I still think Hynes is that. I think in the last 20, man, he could not have done more. Now, you could argue the field goal, they took an extra hit up. That wasn't Hynes that took that extra hit up. I couldn't believe Brayley did that.
It was the one, like it is becoming a bit of a recurring theme at times. Kempy, the Sharks' just inability to close out games. We saw it down in the Capital against the Raiders a few weeks back, and again, not necessarily Nicho's fault. Like, nearly nailed with that massive drop goal to win it.
See, the one in Canberra, 100%. Like, Hynes should have been better on that. I feel like with this one...
Yeah, but not necessarily Nicho in this one. Like, you're about to say it, but it was the one on tackle 4 on the line. They had a quick play of the ball, and Brayley went, like, a shorter side to Fanua Blake for a hitter. And it was there to be hit.
And Hynes, you could see Hynes blowing up in the background.
They had the play of the ball. It was there, 10 out in front. And then even just losing the extra couple of metres, like, that was the moment. There was a few other moments where they went too wide on 4th and didn't get themselves in position. Like, they're struggling to close out games.
Yeah, and it's becoming a bit of pattern where Brayley and Trindle are either overcalling Hynes or I don't know. But it happened a few weeks ago where they just kept going down the left side when they had a player in the bin. I think it was Manly maybe, or a week before. Anyway, they've got to make it really clear who's in control when the game's on the line. Now, I would be putting Hynes, but if Hynes is in control, then that means that Trindle needs to step up more because at the moment, it's just not working. It's just not working. But I thought in the last 20 minutes, Hynes was one of their best players. He had his hand on the ball a lot. He had that 45-metre field goal that hit the post and nearly went in. As I said, he got Hazelton one-on-one. He spun it early for Atkinson, whereas I felt like Trindle, unfortunately, he was a bit quiet this game. I didn't think Trindle had his best game.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
And I know it's easy to just... If you want to make the argument Hynes is on $1 million, therefore it is his team, then fair enough. But then you can't also say Trindle's the main man, give him the ball. It's got to be kind of one or the other, in my opinion. But I do think there is a sense of Trindle and Brayley at times overcalling and going their own way. And that's totally fine, but you've got to make sure you make that play. And I thought was it Brayley to AFB or was it Trindle that passed to AFB?
From dummy half?
Yeah.
It could have been Trindle. I thought it was Brayley.
That was just like, what? You're already in position. He's waiting for the ball, and now you're making a way easier charge down for the defence.
That should have been the game.
That should have been the game, 100%. And whether you want to say Hynes needs to be more dominant, maybe. I don't know. I'm not in the four walls, but something.
He was there. They were in position. It was all ready to go. That wasn't his fault.
I know. What I'm saying is there might be people that will go, he should be more dominant. He should be like blowing up.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, but they need to sort it because, it just looks like it's all over the shop, unfortunately. And look, funnily enough, I actually thought Luai made some similar-ish mistakes as well when going for field goals, where he was passing to Dewey, and I was like, mate, just get Luai to take it.
Kick it yourself.
Yeah, that's what. So it's like both teams were guilty of it, and I understand they want to go down because Latrell used to do it quite a lot at the Roosters, where they would throw Latrell this long spin, and Cooper Cronk would do it, and he would just nail it from like 40. Mate, just take the kick when you got it.
That one that went to Luai for an opportunity to snap it, and then and he was already super deep, which is fine. Then he went back to Dewey. He was about another 20 metres, but he ended up hitting it from about 35 out. It's like, you're just shot from 15 out in front. Take it.
I think, was it Sowie who was on here the other week saying, when you're looking for a field goal, it might have been on your podcast.
It was on my show, and Sowie was talking about how, when he was playing and if he knew it was going to be a field goal set, he said that if anyone that set didn't get in the right spot, it's my fault. Yeah. So I haven't got in their ear before they hit up saying, you fucking go down there. I need the ball here. And he's like, he just sort of... Exactly what he said the other day. He goes, mate, there's all these halfbacks that want to have all these huge setups where it all comes perfectly. Like, you're $1 million player. Kick the fucking ball between the posts. Yeah, make sure your team's in the right spot.
But, for example, there was a period where Adam Fanua-Blake got the ball and he's supposed to take a hit up and he skipped across the field like 20 metres. And it was like, what do you just hit this?
Was that when I can't remember when he said it, but it was like basically he always wanted it in an exact spot. And, if you're a left footer, it's on the left post. If you're a right footer, it's on the right post. And Joe Malone, left footer, he probably got it on the right post. He went, I'm not on here. Let's find someone else who is in a better position or something like that.
And that's where Sowie sort of said, like, that's your fault.
Yeah.
If you're not getting the ball exactly where you need to be, that's on your fault for not. And if you don't have enough control of AFB so he doesn't skip, that's on you.
Yeah, fuck off. I mean, look, I get where Sowie's coming from, but if he just doesn't do what you say, like, what do you... Fuck. Like, if AFB just decides to skip across or Brayley decides to hit a short ball out of his... Like, it's tough. It's
tough, but, like, there's guys that have control of sides and I don't think AFB does that to Cooper Cronk, for example. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to have that.
Yeah.
Halfbacks are there.
Yeah.
It's harsh, but it's a harsh job. Like, it's...
Yeah. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think you earn that right as you become more experienced as a 7 and you get more runs on the board. And I just think that, if you're early in your career, which Hynes is his third year as 7? Third year?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's tough. Yeah, maybe he knows more than me about rugby league. I just reckon Adam Fanua-Blake was told to hit a certain spot, decides to start jumping around. You could make an argument that Adam Fanua-Blake is a higher tier player than Hynes at the moment in regards to form. I don't know. Fourth year in the
poor old Hynes. Jeez, he got a good piece of that one that nearly went in. And he was like on the run as well. It was it felt like he wasn't actually set for it. He just went, actually, no, I'm going to have a crack here. And just went, whack.
See, that's where I you want him to take the game by the balls. He did.
Yeah.
He just said, give me the fucking ball. I'm going to bang it from 45 out.
Mate, legitimately, if that ball's a centimetre to
he's a hero.
The inside of the post, the whole season changes.
Oh, mate.
The whole conversation around Nicho, you'll never hear him moving a lock again.
Oh, mate. It's, so that's, anyway, here's what it is.
I thought AFB was unreal in this game too.
Yeah.
outside of that
one play, 100%. Absolutely. He was unreal, as he always is. Like, when is AFB ever not friggin' unreal? It's just so good. Sharkies, another one that got away. So right now, they are sitting seventh. So that's, I know they've had their bye. No, they haven't.
No, they haven't had a bye.
So they're still there. They're still within striking distance. They're essentially the same. They're essentially sitting around 5th, 6th, 7th. So the good thing is they're still in contact with the top 4. Has it been the start that they probably would have hoped for? Maybe not. And I think the back end of their season gets a little bit harder. But in saying that, the teams that were good last year aren't as good this year. So that draws are all over the place.
Oh, who knows?
And they're also not going to lose Origin players during this period. So
it's not disaster. But tell you what, you're looking a lot better if you're sitting on 10 points right now going, shit, if that ball just goes a little bit closer in.
Yeah.
What price are they to make the 4?
The Sharkies, 250.
Okay. In regards to individual performances, just having a look here.
I thought Talakai was a handful.
Yeah, when he came on, really sped up.
Two very, impactful stints there. He caused some real headaches for the Tigers.
And as you said, Roo, like Adam Blake, mate, the amount of work he gets through for a big mate, it's unbelievable how much work he gets through, and it's all quality. It's usually all quality. I thought Will Kennedy, especially when the game was on the line, far out. He was outstanding.
Yep.
Some great covering plays. Got a bit unlucky with that knock-on where they said it was a knock-on, but that line break that he made when the game was on the line.
Yep. On the first tackle.
Oh, mate. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Having a good season.
But yeah, it's going to be, you don't want to have too many of these as the Sharks because you'll be looking back at the end of the season if you just missed the 4, going, shit. We had that game. We had the momentum. And I think, Hazelton, if he had his time again, I reckon he somehow breaks that tackle from Galvin. Atkinson, definitely, I think. Like, him falling over and knocking it on, just like... It was
I forgot about that moment. Like, watching that live, it was never going to end any other way than a try.
It was one-on-one. Your centre is totally screaming out. And not only do you not make the line, you knock on. And then the Hazelton, I actually don't think he was trying to strip the ball. I think he was just trying to get him down. But... unfortunately, he pulled at the ball at the same time. I think the Tigers player played it really smart, just letting go of the ball like that. I think that was smart footy from him. It just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant. They had a sin bin as well. Oh, the Tigers have a sin bin as well? Yeah, they did.
We did, Pole.
Yep. So, look, not panic stations at all, but they just, if there is a critique, whoever you want to land on, Trindle, Hynes, Brayley, whoever, I think that Fitzy probably needs to sit them all down and go, boys, when the game's on the line, whoever he picks, if it's Hynes, is the man. Whatever he says goes. Because then we can sit here and go, let's say they don't win the game and Hynes is clearly the man that had all the shots. We can go, mate, you need to nail him. You need to nail him. But at the moment, it does seem like they're all kind of Trindle, kind of the man. Brayley kind of has some overcalls. They need to work that out. With the Tigers, we've got to speak about him. Terrell May, 29 runs, 230 metres, 73 post-contact, 3 tackle breaks, 8 offloads, 42 tackles, 0 misses, with only 1 error happening towards the end where he tried to offload. What a game.
And a charge down.
Took a pretty key intercept too, just quietly.
Mate. Listen, I can take credit for being one of the first ones to really spot May and be like, I think he's a good player. But I never thought he'd be this good. I never thought he would be this good. He has gone to a whole other level. And I think he's out and out a top-tier front rower. And right now, he's probably a favourite to get one of the front row Dally M's.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting last year.
Second on the Dally M's, not front row forward Dally M's. Second on Dally M's.
Should be first. Remember last year, everyone was getting stated going, you're never going to be able to replace Stefano at the West Tigers. Well, I'm sorry. One of the upgrades of the century.
Wow. So you're not angry at Stefano anymore? Happy that he was?
I was never angry. I was like, see you, mate. Terrell May's coming. Yeah. No, he's been unbelievable. Just to do 84 minutes in the front row at a game that was played against Adam Blake. Guys like Sifa Talakai coming at you all day, and you still have the energy to charge a ball down. It's remarkable stuff. He's just got to be in a blue jersey in a couple of weeks.
Oh man, At the very least off the bench. Very least off the bench. He is phenomenal.
After this performance, like capped off by the charge down, like to save the game there. I got nothing else to say about him after this week. Like he's done it all. Like what he did on the weekend in 89 minutes, a charge down, he's offloading, the impact he had on the game, what he did defensively, like fire.
42 zero misses.
Unless he starts setting up 3 tries a game, which I wouldn't put past him. Like what else can we say about him after this week?
I got something to say.
Wow.
They took him off in the 68th minute.
He blew up.
Fuck, he should blow up.
So Benji Marshall said
in close games, I think they just need to let him go.
Benji said in the press conference that he blew up at him and was like, "What are you taking me off for? I'm not tired."
Mate, I'm sorry, but I would rather have an exhausted Terrell May on there than the other guys that are sitting on the bench.
He doesn't get exhausted.
He doesn't. He looks fine. And he saw when he came back on after that in the extra time, he was sweet.
Interesting time to take him off too, because Bolle had just been sin bin 5 minutes before.
I thought it was the decision that was going to cost them this game. I thought it was really poor management by Benji in that moment. Didn't end up costing them. They got away with it.
Could you argue that it gave him enough energy?
Yeah, maybe the 5 minute breathe, they gave him
to go hard again at the end.
Do a charge.
You could argue it. I disagree with it though. I think just eyeballing him, I think he looked fine.
Yep.
So he had 5 minutes off or 4 minutes off or something.
Man, he is so special.
He never looks tired. And I'm not saying do it every single week, but when after the 2 weeks you've had at Leichhardt Oval, with Cronulla seemingly running downhill, I would have just left him on and let him go.
You know, it's crazy. It's like I never thought we'd see a Payne Haas stat line. Like I thought that Payne Haas would only ever be a bloke that could give you 80 minutes, 43 tackles, no misses, 200 plus metres, 8 offloads, and we've just seen it from Terrell May.
This era of front row forwards, it's changed. Like I know a lot of positions have changed over time. Like we talk about wingers doing work out of their own end. Toto's changed the position. Mate, Haas, AFB, Tarpanay, Terrell May, like you now look back at what like Webke and Seven, and these are legends of the game, but like it wouldn't stand up in today's game.
No, they wouldn't go for 80 like this.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, crazy.
And it's set this ridiculous standard for front row. Like I remember it was funny when you first ever came on my podcast, we had an argument that day about Payne Haas, about 6 years ago now. And we were sort of saying, like, is he just a genetic freak or has he set a new standard? And he set a new standard that now all these guys are chasing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in 15 years when it's not a unique 2 or 3 that can do it, but all these guys realise, okay, if I work hard enough, I can get to that point?
It's crazy. And, like, what I guess, like, scouts will be looking at is body shapes that are similar to Haas and, you know, they'll be going to the islands and finding kids and going, look, if we get them in their system early, we'll be able to train them up to be these absolute workhorses. Because basically the old yarn was this. If you are 110 kilos, you cannot play up over 60 minutes, maybe even 50. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, well, no, actually, there are certain body shapes that can do that and do it well.
Yeah, and front rows were never the top-ended, like, towards $1 million contracts, even in the past with the lower caps, etc. Like Wayne Bennett was notorious for back in the day, getting front rows and not necessarily having the biggest money ones. He'd just find a couple on $400K who could do a job for him, and they did, and they'd get by, and they'd have big seasons. But that's just changed, hasn't it? Yeah. Now it's like, you know, for the future front rows of the game, and like to Guru's point, in 5, 10, 15 years, they're just going to be sitting there going, why can't the front row be the $1 million or $1.5 million player? Because what Payne Haas is doing, he's obviously there already. If Terrell May continues to do this, which is why there's no reason why he can't, he'll be in that conversation soon enough. Like, as you said, it just changed the game.
It changed it completely. Like talking to Sarah on the show the other day, went through like our each position and the best guys he played with. He got to front row, mate. He gave Mick Wayman the biggest rap of all time. How tough he was, how good he was to play behind. Like, and with all due respect to Mick Wayman, the game has just changed. But like, you couldn't put Wayman in your top 15 props in the game right now based on what these guys are doing, because it's just changed so much.
And also, I think the unique thing Payne has at this stage is he's been doing this for like 6 years now. Yeah. Whereas like, for that long to be putting the stats up he's putting up is just crazy. And that's why it's like, if Terrell May can play like this, continue to play like this, then that'll be amazing. But that's what makes Payne Haas just this unique 6 years of it. Like,
and he's playing his best footy in year 6.
Oh, it's just craziness. It's craziness. But, it's just awesome to see Terrell May come and play like this.